Hello, everyone, and welcome to my first YouTube live. Yeah, this is happening. So I decided that starting this week, we are going to meet here on a weekly basis and have an honest and heartfelt love chat. And if you wonder how this idea came to me, and because I promised you in the description that we are going to have some delicious slices of life, I want to take you back in time with me, if you will, mid 90s. Back then, I was a teenager in Romania, and if you've lived in the US or the Western world all of your life, you're used to having a zillion of radio stations at your thumbnail. You're used to free speech. You're used to listening to all kind of music you want. But back then, until the 90s in Romania, we didn't have that. So um, in the mid 90s, when Romania became a democratic country, independent radio stations flourished, and everybody loved those stations. It was such an exciting time. Young people were becoming radio hosts kind of overnight. They would play their own music, and then they had listeners who would send them letters and engage with them in conversations. And of course, I was one of them. I loved radio, I loved music. And I hope that one day I would become a radio host, which it happened. But back then, two radio shows were really popular. One of them was music by request, so people would send in letters because we didn't have uh, access to the internet back in the day. We couldn't send emails, so people would send snail mail and or just dial their phones and request a song. So this was a popular show, and the other popular show um, was show build their own letters coming from the listeners, and they would send their letters and ask questions. And often enough, those letters revolved around love and relationships and that kind of stuff. So I love those shows, and I would always tune in, and it was really interesting to see how people engage in conversation in a safe place. So this is what I want this love chat to be on Sundays, or maybe Friday might be a better day. You can tell me. Just a safe place where we can talk, have a friendly conversation about love, and mostly about conscious love, because love is something that's been driving my whole life, because love makes the world go round, and because I don't think that human can actually survive and thrive without love. So why conscious love, and what is it, conscious love? Uh, when I was a teenager and then later in life, I heard all kind of stuff about love, and I saw people in love, and I saw relationships. I witnessed other people's relationships. I had relationships, and I listened to songs such as "Love Hurts." It's a famous song by a band called Nazareth. So I heard all these misconceptions and ideas about love being something that can cause us pain, something that can hurt us, being something that's coming from outside, that's something that other people are supposed to give to us, something that would bring us pain and suffering. And it's not just me who grew up with these ideas. I think many of us who were born, I don't know, 70s, 80s, even 90s, kind of grew up with this kind of stuff. So it's hard when you hear permanent all the time that you need to think with your mind. You don't need to pay attention to your heart. The love can hurt you. Relationships can be difficult. um, I need somebody else to complete me. I need love from the outside to feel complete, or to be happy. So when this is happening, I think it's hard to really open yourself to love, to know love for what it really is, and to have this beautiful experience in your life. So, as I started my spiritual journey, I came to realize that actually love is our essence, is who we are. And I don't want to preach here, but I just want to explain a little bit this concept of conscious love. So, in my opinion, the way I view it, I think in general, us humans, we use love as something that is really generic to kind of define um, attachment, lust, desire, even getting used to being in a relationship with someone. So we have this notion about love and what it is, and we think that love is something that begins and ends. So it's something um, that has a certain duration in time, a certain lifespan. Whereas the conscious love, so in that way, love is something that's outside of us. It's something that we can really get a grasp on. Whereas conscious love, I think it's more like becoming aware that love is within us. That's the fabric of life. That's something that we are. So that was, I think, my big breakthrough and my big discovering after starting a conscious spiritual journey, because I think regardless if we are aware or not, this whole life is a spiritual journey. But once you decide to embrace it, then many of the things that are happening, or the signs, or the signs on the road, or the people you meet, they start to make more sense, and they start to guide you, and your life becomes easier and more fulfilling and more joyful. So I I had that realization, and I realized that was the first step towards conscious love. That's actually love is a choice. So that's how this book came into being. I chose love, a journey from fear to love. I didn't want to talk about this, but I'm going to say it anyways. I was in Abadiania in Brazil, and I was attending a spiritual circle one evening, and there was this beautiful lady, angel-like blue eyes, golden hair, and she said, "Love and fear cannot coexist in the same space." And actually, I think that's one of the main topic today: love versus fear, because there is so much fear in the world today. Um, what's going to happen? How are we going to stay healthy? What if our freedom is taken away? So there is a lot of uncertainty and fear going around. And guess what? Probably the best cure, the best way to overcome this situation is love. Because as this lady said, and she's not the only one, Wayne Dyer says it in her books, love and fear, they cannot coexist in the same space, in the same body, in the same heart. So once we are in a space of fear, um, our being contracts, and we see ourselves as an island. We believe that we need to fend for ourselves, and we are in a survival mode. And we see the other people, especially those who push our buttons, who challenge us, who have different opinions, as enemies. So we need to fight back. We need to protect ourselves from those people. Whereas when we are in a space of love, we are attuned, connected to the energy of life. And then that energy of life, as you can see if you look around, is all about creation. It's all about expansion. So we get into that flow, and all of a sudden, we realize that actually we are not an island. And even if we were an island, if you look at the earth from above, when you travel on a plane, Even those islands you see, they are not, they are connected to the rest of the world, of the earth, by water, um, by the soil. So everything is interconnected. So it's really beautiful when we get to tap into this source of power. And I like to think that, and that's what I say, that's in my email signature, love is your magic power. Because when you tap into that, um, it's not even an emotion, it's not even a feeling, it's just energy. So when you tap into that energy that's right here in your heart, and mostly here where the thymus is, then um, the fear vanishes. And because you are an energetic being and everything around us is frequency, then you're going to attract more love into your life. So this is one of the things I talk about in my book, how the more love you allow yourself to be, the more love you allow yourself to express, the more love you're going to attract in your life. And it's not just about um, romantic relationships, it is about your whole life. Because, for example, um, you're not you're not there are different parts of your body, right? There is your body, and then there is your mind, and then there is your heart, your soul. So all of these are interconnected, they don't operate separately. Same way, um, your life, your personal life, your professional life, your health, your well-being, everything is interconnected. So when you start cultivating love in everything, in every aspect of your life, then the better your life gets. What I'm trying to say here is actually, um, when you embrace love, when you decide to make this choice of choosing love and not fear, this is something that's going to manifest in every aspect of your life. You cannot say, oh, I'm fearless in my professional life, I can embrace any project I want. So you cannot be fearless in your professional life and kind of be fearful in your relationship, because you are not everything in your being, in your human being, in this experience you're having on earth right now is interconnected. So if there is a little bit of fear in one aspect of your life, even health, then that fear is going to kind of interfere with everything you do. So my point here is that you need to choose either fear, or you need to choose either love. And it's not even a choice. I came to realize later, it's about remembering that actually you are love. You are this beautiful energy. Deep down inside, you are joy. Deep down inside, you are creativity. You are inspiration. You are kindness. You know that you are united with everything that exists. And I'll give you an example. Earlier today, I was meditating in the backyard. And I'm really blessed because I live in a really beautiful place. And I thank my partner Gregory for this. And we have a beautiful backyard, and with trees and flowers and visitors. So we have birds coming into the backyard every day. We have squirrels, and I've loved squirrels since I was a kid, and hummingbirds as well. But these squirrels, they are used and they aren't used to humans, so they won't come near me and accept food from me. But today I was in the garden and I was meditating, and I was so peaceful and connected with nature and everything around me that the squirrel came closer than usual, and she looked for food in the dirt, and she found food, and then she ate it, and she looked at me as if I wasn't there. So I think um, probably one of the main takeaways here is to be as in tune and attuned with your essence, which is love, and with everything that's around you, that, a squirrel won't notice you. A squirrel won't will act as if you're not there, because we've been, especially in the Western world, we grew up with this misconception that we are separate from nature, and we exude that energy so the animals would feel it and they would stay away from us, but the reality is different. So I thought that was a beautiful story that I wanted to share with you. So why do I say that love is a choice, and especially conscious love is a choice? Because in every moment of our life we make decision, when especially when we have to make a decision. We make that decision based on fear or based on love, and we can make that choice. We can choose to stay in that flow, in that energy, in that creation, in that kindness, in the joy that we are, and stay true to who we are, and choose love, because first and foremost it is a choice we make for ourselves. Or we can look at the other person or the situation as the enemy, and instead of staying true to our heart and to who we are, we can choose fear and pretend we need to fight and actually fight. And I'd like you to think of a situation in your life where you had an argument with someone, even with your partner or spouse, and instead of kind of taking a step back and reflecting at the situation, you allowed yourself to be triggered and reacted, and maybe you said something you didn't mean, or maybe you said something that sounded harsh, or you said something, or you did something that was not loving. I wouldn't say inappropriate, I don't like using those words. And then how did it feel inside? I think, and I bet, you doing something that's not really your nature felt even worse than what the other person did or what the other person said. I know that's how I am. When I get into an argument, and I allow myself to be caught up in the heat of the moment and my emotions, and then I say things I don't really mean. And then after that whole thing is over, I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? I did it again. It's like somebody's, like the universe is testing me again and again, or is, somebody puts like something that would make me sleep in front of me, and I don't catch it on time, and I step on that thing, and then I fall to the ground. But I think the trick here is to, even if you sleep, even if you do something that you later regret, the thing is to show love to yourself. So love is not about being loving to other people. That's how us women, especially, we were taught, oh, you need to be loving, you need to be kind, you need to be gentle, you need to be understanding. Of course, these are wonderful things, um, but we need to show the same kindness, understanding, and love towards ourselves. So even when we do something that doesn't seem in tune with who we are, with the love within, we can still, and that's when I think when we need to show the most compassion and understanding towards ourselves, and give ourselves a little break, and treat ourselves the way we would love other people to treat us. So and look at that situation as an opportunity. When you have an argument, especially with your partner, um, or your spouse, or when you're in a couple relationship, or in with your parents, don't look at the situation from a, don't put on the victim lens. Don't look at it as, oh, that person is doing that to me, it's so unfair. Of course, you don't need to condone something that you kind of label as disrespectful or unfair. But I think it will empower you to to look at the situation as an opportunity to learn, as an opportunity to see something about yourself that you weren't really aware of, as an opportunity to, turn things around without getting into a fight. If you catch it on time, just by being aware and not letting your button being pushed, you can avoid a whole situation, and that will empower yourself. So that's another message that's also in my book, I Just Love: A Journey from Fear to Love, and also in this book, 5 Easy Steps of Ending a Toxic Relationship. Um, and I will be talking more about this toxic relationship idea in a conversation I will have with my friend Vishnu tomorrow evening on Monday, 6 p.m. on Instagram. Again, I'm changing and you are changing and evolving all the time. So when I wrote this book last year about toxic relationships, I firmly believe that yes, some relationships are toxic, but this is not a book about um, blaming toxic relationship. This is a book more about healing. But what I want to say here is that if we're going to look at a relationship and label it as toxic, that's what it's going to be. But then when we shift perspective, just as I said earlier, and look at it as an opportunity, then we realize that no relationship is toxic, and actually no experience in your life is toxic. It's just an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to go back to love, return to love. And of course, if we persist in the same pattern again and again, if we repeat the same thing again and again without learning, if we attach negativity to the experience, then it will become toxic. But I think it will become toxic because we are making it so. So, love is also looking at things with and people with more compassion, with more being more understanding, being more tolerant, and judging less, criticizing less, and encouraging people more, empowering them. So even in the relationship, um, if you look at your partner and you constantly see and you focus on the things you don't like, oh, he's not doing that, or she's not doing that. I don't like the way he eats. I don't like the way he sleeps. I don't like the way he drives. I don't like this. Then that's something that's going to take away the joy, that's going to take away your opportunity to experience something nice um, with that other person. And it's like a magnifying glass. So those attributes you will kind of be in your face and grow. But then if you focus on the good things, and you take an opportunity to remind that person of their qualities, of what they are doing okay, of the things you are grateful for. So again, putting a magnifying glass on those things, so they will become more prominent in your life. So then think about when it comes to fear and love, and when it comes to your relationship, where do you want to put your magnifying glass? What would you rather magnify? um, and I'm going to make a comparison here. Would you rather look through a magnifying glass to a mosquito or to a butterfly? Would you focus on something that's beautiful, or would you rather focus on something that's kind of not so beautiful? Although every creation in this universe has its own beauty and and uniqueness, and it's here with a purpose. So I think this is the question I'm going to leave you with today, until we see each other again. Um, where do you want to put the magnifying glass, in the next days? Where do you want to put your focus? What would you like to have more in your life? And one last tip, because I had this in my mind before I started this live transmission, and I think not even in my mind, in my heart. Um, I know fear is all around now, nowadays, and every emotion has a frequency. So it can be really tough to get from the frequency of fear, which is really low, to the frequency of love, which is high. So the ideal is to take one step at a time. And I think the first step to have less fear is just look around you and notice those details, those aspects that make you feel safe. Oh, I have a house, I have a roof over my head, I am safe, I have food in the fridge, I have friends, I have a family, I have a loving partner. Um, so all these details, don't just look at details, don't make them up. Just look around you and see, find those things that make you feel safe. And but in doing that, you will become less fearful, and it's easier from there to get into a state of love. So I wish you a beautiful Sunday. If you have no plans for this afternoon, if you're here in California or West Coast in the US, just go outside, because before it goes dark. It's a beautiful day, and make time every day to spend time in nature, to connect with nature. You can hug a tree, you can walk barefoot, and that will help you ground yourself. That will help you calm your mind, and that will help you get in tune, in touch with your heart, and that's where love is. But don't forget, where do you want to put your magnifying glass, and see what's happening in your life depending where you're putting the magnifying glass. And please, I'd love to hear about your experiences. So write a comment to this video or send me an email. There is a contact form on my website, www.agbilling.com, and let's stay in touch. And until next time, just love who you are, love what you do, and love your life. Bye bye.